Incoming harvester, headed for the airfield.
Oh good, they've got dragons. It's Dragon Age now. Thank you for the advance warning, Jimothy.
General, tell Primarch Victus will rendezvous here. In the meantime,
They fly now?
that thing dropped off.
They fly now.
Coming, Garrus?
Are you kidding? I'm right behind you.
How many other Marvelifications can we add into this? He's right behind me, isn't he? There is a Marvelification of crap writing like that. User alert! They fly now. Oh my god. Well, that just happened. What is it with just really crap writing infesting Star Wars and Marvel? It's not just Star Wars and Marvel, I'm not hating on that. I suppose easy tropes of writing. I find it lazy. I find it very boring. It's safe, isn't it? It's really safe. I find it very safe. And safe is often boring. You don't make art when you play it safe. I do think that the quality of writing in general has got worse. There's a brilliant video by Every Frame a Painting where they, I don't know if you guys have seen this, they show a scene from, I think it's one of the Avengers films, where it's effectively Captain America's, it's not funeral, but it's museum. If you've seen that video, the Captain America Museum, and there's a voiceover explaining constantly what happened with this, and there's a little kid looking up, and it's Steve Rogers with a hat on. He kind of tells the kid to be quiet and then walks off as like a secret. But if you play that scene without the voiceover, it's freaking brilliant. Like, without the voiceover, scene's badass, without a doubt. Because it works, because it's visual storytelling. I think what it might be is the writers don't have faith in the audience to follow visual storytelling anymore. It's almost as if the writers think that you have to lay out everything for the audience. Yeah, it truly does. To me, I think you're underestimating how many of those writers are just bad at writing. Yeah, that might be the case as well. There's probably a lot of very talented writers who just don't get a chance to write because they don't live in the correct place. What was the last film you saw that had writing in it that was amazing? Like, you actually had to step back and be like, that is so goddamn... What was the last film you saw that changed your life? Because life can very much be divided sometimes into before you have experienced the art and after you have experienced the art. Now, I remember the first time I saw The Matrix. I remember the first time I saw Fight Club. The first time I saw The Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile, that kind of stuff. These are the stories and the films that make you go, oh my god, this is incredible. The Lord of the Rings. I think for me recently, the film that just made me sit back and go, holy crap, that is a film, was Everything Everywhere All at Once. That was just so goddamn good. I mean, it's about the experience of the kind of generational trauma within Asian families. And I don't even have that, you know, but I could enjoy the film. Holy crap.
That's where I was born.
It was a film that wasn't even aimed at me as a demographic, but oh my god, it was great. Is that ship the Normandy? I hope that's the Normandy, just absolutely Is that very slowly flying toward the Reaper? That ship is really slowly flying toward the Reaper. What happens if we just let it get there? Like, it's not far.
It's gonna be bad all over.
Maybe it could just get to the... Oh, the Reaper's moving away. Okay, cool. Maybe it could just get closer. I was kind of hoping that we could see what would happen. See how close that's going to get to it. Can it get there? Maybe that ship's not real. Oh, it's the Holdo maneuver. Of course. That one thing that was like, it had a 1 in a million chance of happening. Well, then it's not heroic to do it, is it? That was dumb Star Wars writing. I'm going to be in charge of this ship. And I'm going to do a crazy maneuver that nobody's ever done before. But if it works, it would be the most powerful thing anyone could have ever done, ever. You know, we could just... That would rewrite warfare. You would no longer need weapons at all. You would just send tiny but dense ships into your enemy at light speed. That would be the only thing you ever need to do in kind of a Star War. Ever. And then they did that. And let's be fair, cinematography was badass. It looked gorgeous. And then... the next film, they were like, that thing had a 1 in a million chance of happening. Can you imagine what it would have been like if the 1 in a million chance didn't happen? And instead, there was this big dramatic scene of sending everyone off the ship, and then the captain sits down and she punches it forward and the ship just explodes. And they were like, yeah, that's kind of what we all thought would happen there. I mean, there's a 1 in a million chance that you would have not done that, but statistically, that's exactly what should have happened. Oh well, let's go back to fighting with swords. It's so strange. Yeah. It's so strange. I know this is a bit of a hot take, but I don't think that the writing in Star Wars is as good as everyone thinks it is.
Soldier, you okay?
Yes, sir. We'll make it.
I also don't think the writing in Star Wars was ever really that good anyway.
Okay, good luck.
It's a brave of me to say. I understand that it is brave of me, but let's be real, Star Wars was always kind of sci-fi pulp schlock. And okay, we like that. I like sci-fi pulp schlock. I'll take some of that. But when people are like, oh, it's a beautiful, brilliant, epic
Commander,
space
how many
opera.
troops in that crash? 50? 75?
No, it's sci-fi schlock, and
Sounds
we like
right.
that.
Hard to see a beautiful ship like that go down.
Not to mention the men starving on her.
Star Wars was very much saved in
That was
the
a little
edit,
closer than I'd like.
by the way.
I'll say.
So, the first Star Wars films, part 4, 5, and 6, the first rough edit of it was terrible. In fact, random bit. Okay, here we go. Random little side discussion. Okay, a bit of a conspiracy here. Can't prove, can't not prove, but I'm going to talk about it. You can tell me what you think. The very first Star Wars film was, I think, the first cut was edited by George Lucas, and it wasn't very good. So it was recut in the edit room, and I think it was recut by his wife at the time, and that was brilliant. That was great. That was a really good film. And then it was released, and it did really well. So it turns out that George Lucas is an okay director, an okay writer, and a bad editor, and made it really big with Star Wars. So why the hell are we changing all the films now that they're re-released and re-released and re-released? Well, there is a theory that, again, I'm not saying it's true, but there is a theory that if he re-releases the film with changes, then there is a legal justification to not pay the original editor, his wife at the time, royalties, because they are no longer the films that she edited. Let's just think about that for a second. Think on. Because otherwise, why would he change it repeatedly? Every single time? Because it's clearly not a good decision to do that.
So, Commander,
It's a solid conspiracy right
Solarian,
there.
the Krogan,
Solid
and
conspiracy.
Batarians.
It's like poetry.
And the Krogan have never forgiven us
rhymes.
for the Genophage.
How good is Star Trek? Star Trek The Next Generation has got some of the best writing I've ever... Measure of a Man is just one of the best episodes of any TV show ever. If you have not seen Measure of a Man, it's worth going to watch just for that
double time.
episode. Holy
No
crap,
Reaper's
it's
taking
so
this
good.
Primarch from me.
Right behind you.
Sometimes, and this, you know what? This is going to tie into something. This ties, I know we're going to a lot of tangents. If you've not been here before and you're like, why is it going on so many tangents? Welcome, this is what we do. Is it just me, or has writing moved away from solving problems with the characters being realistic and exploring who the characters are and what they want toward just spectacle? Spectacle and extravagance and special effects and scenery and explosions and twists and big changes. Here's what I mean by that. You know, I really like Superman comics or Superman animated films. I'm not a big fan of Superman live-action films. I'm not saying Henry Cavill's a bad actor. I think he's a great actor. But the Superman live-action films always focus on the fact that he is an all-powerful demigod and can go and fight other all-powerful demigods. Whereas the comics and the animated films explore his struggle to be human. Because Superman is so overpowered, he can beat anything, but what he can't always come to terms with is the human condition, which I think is great. I like that. I really, really like the fact that, I mean, there's an episode, there's a comic or an animated film where Superman's just trying to come to terms with the fact that he wasn't able to save someone. And that's beautiful, to see him struggle to deal with failure and loss is very human. And I like that. I respect that. Because I read a thing on Reddit earlier, and it said that we are so used to characters being written as dark and edgy in order to be... it's almost like they're trying to circumvent the trope. They're trying to circumvent your expectations. What's the word I'm looking for there? Not circumvent, it's something else. They're trying to play on your expectations by making a character that is actually quite wholesome. Subvert, thank you. They're trying to subvert your expectations by taking a character that is wholesome and making them dark and edgy and brooding and brutal. But that is now so common that the subversion of expectation would be actually having them be a relatively well-adjusted, happy, capable, able person. That would be the subversion. I would like... I mean, I've been getting, for some reason, on my YouTube shorts, a load of short clips of the old Superman TV shows, where he was just a little bit awkward, a little bit naive, but, you know, well-natured, good-mannered, trying to save people and do good around the world as and when he could. And I was watching it, and I'm like, you know what, I prefer this Superman to evil, dark, brooding, nasty. I like that. That's cool. I guess I just want to see superheroes struggle with being human as opposed to struggle with being super.